Hi, my name is Sherry Barkey, and I'm COC's registered dietitian, and I work here on campus in the Student Health Center. For many students, including veterans, the transition to college life can mean a total breakdown of previously highly structured eating and training regimens. So today I'm going to give you my basic 4-part fueling strategy to make sure you stay on track and achieve your personal goals. So strategy number 1 is planning time to eat, train, and sleep. One of my favorite quotes from Benjamin Franklin is, "Failure to plan is planning to fail." We all live really busy lives juggling the responsibilities of school, work, families, and our social life. So if we don't make a plan to eat, it just won't happen. So one of the first things that I do with students is each semester I'll take a look at their schedule and I'll say literally, this is when you're going to eat breakfast, this is when you're going to eat lunch, and this is when you're going to eat dinner. So if you know that you have no time in the morning, you have an early class, then you literally have to think of some grab-and-go breakfast ideas. If you only have like 20-minute gap between your afternoon classes, you know you have to pack a lunch so that you can eat really quickly at that time. So why is it important to make a time to eat at these regular intervals? Well, if you go too long without eating, your blood sugar is going to drop and you're just not going to perform as well. Your brain's not going to work as well, your energy is going to suffer, and your mood is going to suffer as well. Also, if you don't make a point of eating at regular intervals, your metabolism is going to slow down and you're going to be a lot more likely to be overly hungry and then overeat later. So it's really important to make time to eat. You also want to make time for strength and cardio training. So if you don't have a PE class as part of your academic schedule, then what I encourage you to do is to carve out a couple days a week where that's your exercise time and you think of it as if it were a class, a scheduled class, and make it a priority. So how much exercise is enough? For many students, especially men, they are trying to build muscle and they think that they need to be doing strength training like 6 days a week for hours on a bodybuilding split. And in reality, you don't need to be doing that much. Just 2 to 3 times a week of strength training sessions. They shouldn't take longer than 30 to 45 minutes. Quality is much more important than quantity. As for cardio training, the recommendation, if you can do vigorous workouts, is to do 75 to 150 minutes a week of cardio training, vigorous cardio training. So breaking that down, that would be like 3 times a week doing 25 to 50 minute jog or a spinning class. So you don't need to be spending hours and hours and hours in the gym, but you do need to make a plan to exercise. Now, if you're not fit enough to do vigorous intensity exercise, you do have to do longer. The recommendation is 150 to 300 minutes a week. But the good news with that is it doesn't have to be all at once. It can be 10 minutes in intervals throughout the day. So it might be parking farther away and spending 10 minutes to walk to your first class and then 10 minutes walking to another class. And if you can accumulate 6 little 10-minute bursts of walking at a moderate intensity throughout most days of the week, you've accomplished that cardio goal. So the third thing, which might be really hard for many students, is making time for sleep. We need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And if you don't make a plan for it to happen, it's not going to happen. So you have to figure out what time do you need to wake up in the morning. And then backtrack, okay, what time do you need to be asleep in order to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep? In order to actually be asleep at that time, it's really important to shut off any stimulating or stressful activity about an hour before you need to be asleep. And that's something that I work with a lot of students on doing. Now, why would you want to make time for sleep? Do you have too much to do? Well, everything suffers when you don't get enough sleep. So physical health, lack of sleep, when you get fewer than 6 hours of sleep a night, you are more likely to have a diabetes, you're more likely to have high blood pressure, you are more likely to have problems with your immune system. It also affects your fitness and weight. Your appetite hormones are higher, you're more likely to overeat and gain weight. It also interferes with the production of growth hormones. So if you're trying to build muscle, you're not going to achieve it as well if you're not getting that quality sleep time. All right, so number 2 is know what a high performance plate is supposed to look like. So I like to simplify nutrition, and when thinking about your meals, I use a balance principle that each meal should have one of three basic food groups. It needs a protein-rich food, it needs a starch or a grain, and you need some vegetables and fruits. So this plate model shows that with somebody who's engaged in moderate training, which I'm hoping you're doing some moderate training, this is the proportion of those food groups that should be on your plate. So a typical meal should be about half fruits and vegetables, a little over a quarter starches and grains, and most of the time we want those to be whole grains, and then about a quarter of the plate proteins, and most of the time we want those lean proteins. In addition to that basic plate, we want to include some fats. We all need some fat, and preferably the fats that come from plant sources. Those are going to be your healthy, unsaturated fats, so things like oils and nuts and avocado. In addition to drinks, we want to mostly be drinking water. Now, depending on what your goals are, your plate might shift a little bit. So if you're somebody that is trying to lose weight, or maybe you're not engaging in training right now, well, then you might not need quite as much starches and grains, so maybe a quarter of your plate instead of a third of your plate. There's a lot of misconceptions about carbs being bad and people thinking they need to cut them out altogether, and that's not true. It's just that if you're not as active, you don't need as much of that food group, but you still need some. And so again, if you're trying to lose weight, you do more vegetables, slightly less starches and grains, and still the same amount of lean proteins. The other thing that's really important if you're trying to lose weight or you're not very active is really go light and easy on the added fats. The fats are still important, but they're very calorie dense, so you might just use a little skimming of peanut butter or a little drizzle of olive oil if you're trying to lose weight. And the third modification I'd make if you're trying to lose weight or you're not training is really the only beverage you want to be drinking is water, because liquid calories don't fill you up. So if you're drinking a lot of things like sodas and juices, you're getting a lot of calories and it's not going to fill you up. Now, by contrast, if you're trying to gain muscle or you're training really, really hard and your calorie needs are really high, I would do the opposite of what I just said. I would have more starches and grains because your muscles really thrive off of that carbohydrate for energy and need more when you're using them more. And instead of just using a little bit of fats, fats are a valuable source of concentrated calories, so I would add a lot more fats, but the healthy ones. So I would eat big bags of trail mix. I would be generous with my peanut butter. I would put lots of olive oil and toss it in my pasta and my vegetables. And in terms of beverages, I wouldn't just drink water, but I would choose quality high-calorie beverages to supplement the water. So things like low-fat milk, chocolate milk, and 100% fruit juices. Those are all healthy things that I would want you to drink more of if you're trying to sneak in more calories. Many students, especially men, are really concerned about protein for muscle growth. So the question I get a lot is, well, do you need to be supplementing with a protein shake or a protein bar, protein powder if you're trying to gain muscle mass? And the answer is no, not necessarily. So how does the body gain muscle? Well, you gain muscle by doing resistance training. You can't just sit on the couch watching Netflix and drinking your protein shake. It's not going to build muscle. You've got to do resistance training, strength training twice a week. And that's going back to making time for that. We've got to make time for strength training. In terms of what's going to give your muscles energy to build muscle, well, that's your carbohydrates. So that's why I said before, if you're trying to gain weight, you need to have larger amounts of those starches and grains for the extra calories. You do need more protein when you're trying to gain muscle, but you don't need more than what I've kind of just described. If you're eating 3 balanced meals and making time, as we said first, for 3 balanced meals, and each of those meals has a good source of protein, and you're taking time for some snacks, and protein-rich snacks, you can meet your protein needs without a supplement. So as an example, it's best to distribute your protein throughout the day, in other words, 3 to 4 times a day instead of not eating all day and then having a big load at night. So you need about 20 to 30 grams of protein at each meal. So this is what 20 grams of high quality protein looks like if it's coming from lean meat or chicken or fish. It's about the size of a deck of cards. You can also get this 20 grams worth of protein from an 8-ounce carton of Greek yogurt, or you can get that same 20 grams of protein from a cup of beans. You could get it from 3 eggs or 6 egg whites. So all of those are about equal to 1 serving of a protein powder. So if you are eating egg whites and chicken and beans throughout your day and at your meals in those quantities, you don't need a protein powder. If you're skipping meals or you find it more convenient, well then sure, you could use that instead. Okay, number 3 is plan time to shop 1 time a week so you can prepare fast and easy balanced meals. So if you don't have any food in your kitchen, it's not going to be fast and easy for you to eat. So it's really critical that you carve out 1 day a week to go grocery shopping. And for me, it's Saturday morning. Religiously, every Saturday morning, I'm going to make a list. I'm going to plan out what I'm going to be eating throughout the week based on my schedule. And I'm going to make a shopping list and get all stocked up for the whole week. So planning time to shop once a week is really, really important. And then preparing those fast and easy balanced meals. To get some ideas about what you can make, Snack, in conjunction with the Culinary Club, is going to be producing a series of cooking classes in spring semester. So please stay tuned for those. But in the meantime, I want you to keep that balanced plate principle in mind and think, I've got to have a protein, I've got to have a starch, and I've got to have a fruit or vegetable at each of those meals. So if you're trying to think of a quick grab and go breakfast, it could be as simple as saying, okay, well, I'm going to grab a banana for my fruit, I'm going to grab a handful of almonds for my protein, and I'm going to grab a whole grain Nature Valley granola bar for some grain, and that's better than nothing, and it's balanced, and you can grab that and go. So keep that balance principle in mind as you're thinking about those fast and easy meals. So finally, number 4 is packing high-performance backpack snacks and always carrying with you a reusable water bottle. So it's free. And we have reusable water stations, filler stations on campus, and it doesn't hurt the environment. So I encourage you to carry that and drink that throughout the day. In terms of some snack ideas, great backpack snack ideas, I'm going to go over some protein snack ideas because that tends to be the food group that we tend to forget about, and then we're just kind of at the mercy of the vending machines and grabbing our chips and cookies and things. So protein-rich backpack snacks could be trail mix, could be nuts, could be seeds, edamame, just those frozen edamame, or one of my favorites are just the dry roasted edamame. You can also buy dry roasted chickpeas and other beans, which are great, and they come in all different flavors. You could make some hard-boiled egg and put a couple in some Ziploc bag and take those for on the go. String cheese, yogurt, low-fat chocolate milk, these are all great protein-rich snacks that you can pack for your busy days. Other good ideas for snacks with protein would be hummus, and you can dip hummus with some veggie sticks like carrots and bell pepper sticks, cucumber slices, whole grain crackers like Triscuits, or even pretzels and pita chips, and you can put it in a little carry container, little sections, and grab that to go. You can use peanut butter or almond butter and put that in a container with some apple slices or with your banana, or you can just put it on some graham crackers and Ritz crackers and make little peanut butter cracker sandwiches, and those make great portable snacks on the go. You can make a sandwich, turkey, roast beef, ham and cheese, and put it on 100% whole wheat bread, or wrap it all in a tortilla and grab that to go. Those can make You don't just have to eat sandwiches for lunch. If that's a convenient grab-and-go breakfast, you can do it for breakfast as well. And then some whole grain bars. There's a lot of bars on the market. Some of the better choices would be ones that have more whole food ingredients, like the Nature Valley Whole Oats granola bars. It could be Cliff bars, the Kashi TLC bars, Kind bars or Lara bars, which are just mostly nuts and dried fruit and as their only ingredients. And then of course my favorite snacks are your fruits, fresh fruit, and the ones that are really easy and portable. You can just grab an apple, grab an orange, grab some cuties, put some grapes in a Ziploc bag, grab your banana. It could be canned fruit, and those are all real easy things to just pack in your backpack. So if you'd like additional support in helping to implement any of these 4 strategies that I've talked about, there's a lot of resources on campus. First is I offer free personal nutrition counseling in the Student Health Center for all currently registered COC students, so please take advantage of that. Secondly, I teach a class on campus called Health Sciences 149, Nutrition for Fitness and Balanced Living. It's a 2-unit personal development type course, and I'll be offering it this spring on Tuesday afternoons. Third, you can follow us on, COC has a club that I'm the faculty advisor for called SNAC. It's the Student Nutrition and Wellness Advocates at COC. It's a group of students who work with me to put on health-related programs on campus. So you can follow us at COC SNAC on Instagram or College of the Canyon SNAC on Facebook, and we post all of our events and activities there. Coming up this Veterans Day, Friday, SNAC is sponsoring a hike to Vasquez Rocks, and we hope that you can join us for that. We're trying to, in addition to helping people eat well, we're helping people be more active and making time for that as well. Finally, you can go to our website at canyons.edu and click on Student Health Center, and you can find a tab for nutrition, and there's a lot of information about me, SNAC, and all of these nutrition questions that often come up.